reparations, you need to contact the consulate for Sierra Leone so that you can have a political body to represent you in your negotiations for your reparations. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what about my grandmother, Olivia? That's a Cherokee. Because I understand Cherokees are getting reparations.
Well, I have to ask you this question. Are you a matriarchal descendant or a patriarchal descendant? Meaning, do your ancestral
I said my grandmother.
Do your ancestral lineage pass down through your motherland or your fatherland?
I said my grandmother.
So then you can't fight for your Sierra Leone's reparation and fight for your grandmama too, because you're going to have to choose.
Why can't I fight for both?
Because
they both are legitimate. Why
can't they both may be legitimate, but they only can pay out one claim.
Why is that? I disagree with that.
Well, for the
you got a right to disagree. And I can help try to get us to understand that our ancestors left us a structural system that if we remember our culture, we don't have to ask nobody for shit. We tell everybody where they belong on our land. They don't tell us where we belong. They don't ship us off to plantations and call them reserves. Them people have nothing to do with us collectively. Those were people that was made native by presidential orders. That don't make them organic to the land. And so soon as y'all get that through y'all head, we gonna make progress at lightning speed. But the process is slow because we have to wake up a certain percentage of us to activate our motherline's matriarchal right to bring back in the great law at the close of the old age and the dawn of the new age. They told us everything, and I've drug all of the secrets out in the open because I was asked to by a series of chiefs that preceded me. Now, this shit ain't no secret no more. It's the cognitive dissonance and rationalizing the information that's the problem. Right? So, I know what I'm doing to help us, but don't nobody else have to know. Because it might be, it's a possibility, it's above their pay grade and their spiritual rank in order to know what I'm doing. Because this shit is complicated for me and I'm actually doing it. So for somebody who don't have the same spiritual guidance to the same level, they might think I'm crazy for 20 years after they figure it out. Because I would have had to be crazy to see all this shit for what it is. Because the only sane person in the insane world is the crazy motherfucker. And all this shit is insanity to me. So, everybody got different perspectives of looking at stuff. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. We ain't supposed to all have the same opinion about everything all the time. Or else we'd just be some go along to get along, spineless ass people trying to figure out our way and getting our head busted every turn. So we got to be willing to accept the constructive criticism, and the ones who don't understand, they're going to lash out because they don't really get it. You understand epigenetics, then you understand why Elijah Muhammad called us Radiohead. We being projected into these bodies from somewhere else.
Right.
It's hard to tell where you being projected from while you in the body. But as soon as you get outside the body, you like, God damn, man, I messed up again on the video game.
Yeah,
I was almost to the champions. I was almost to the championship level.
Just like that.
Huh? I was finna save the princess from the dragon in Mario.
Wow, like that, huh? Wow.
Yeah, it's but now you got to remember, if you're an eternal being, Malachi said this in Man from Planet Risk. You have to do something to occupy yourself for eternity. If you go to India, they have historical records with whole cycles cataloged, thousands and thousands of different, what they call great year cycles, right? The record is always here, but sometimes we scatter the record out for a cannonball run. You know what cannonball run is?
Yeah.
That movie?
Yeah.
Scavenger hunt. Hansel and Gretel pick up the breadcrumbs, the water washed them away, but the energy's still there, right? So you put down a different type of breadcrumb that don't dissolve in the rain, right? It's an energy field. And none of this stuff new to us. We did this before. We did it so many different ways that now we acting like we haven't done it before because the particular types of conjures being used to strip the memory, right? Like, you want to play that Dr. Clark video so I can show some of what I'm talking about?
Yeah, let me. Give me 1 second, y'all.
So Dr. Clark was a good friend to what's my man from Africa?
Yeah.
So this is the war he talking about. So he said there was a war on all of the indigenous cultures of the world. So this is why when you hear me say when they attacked us, they had to attack Africa. You can't let one brother stand and don't attack the other brother, or else you're going to have to worry about your backside. So the Berlin Conference created the name Africa when they divided up the continent for conquest. This is all strategic. And the instrumental agents behind it look like us, but they was in amnesia too. So even if we don't like them, they have to educate themselves out of the amnesia in order to know how to close the conjure. They couldn't win because they couldn't remember how to close the conjure. So it was inevitable that they would lose because they now have to call on the same person the tribe's got to call on.
Who's them? Who are you
to come and explain okay, so it's feathers versus fezzes. The Moors who went into amnesia, all of their fezzes is in the George Washington Memorial. It's a fez, it's a little section of fezzes, right? And then all of the chiefs, the feather wearing chiefs of the land. We didn't walk around wearing feathers every day. That's ceremonial garb for ceremonial purposes, right? So they want to conceal the fact that the chiefs was already here fighting this war in the blind, just like they was. So now they have to put the information out in the public and reach out for the same person the chiefs got to reach out for. That's what was going on. It's a conjure war. It's a war of education. It's a war of erudition. Study yourself to show thyself approved. This is what it's all about. The making of a man, the great arcana, the great work, the building of Solomon, the soul of man in order to inhabit the temple. This is what it's all about.
And so
all of the secret societies involved.
Who put the fezzes under the conjure now?
They did.
They put themselves under the conjure.
Yeah, we had both sides got to have amnesia.
Okay.
But in our amnesia, we got to outstudy each other to win. If you get caught in the dogma, you can't win the war.
Right.
If you follow your moral compass, follow what's true to your heart, you can't lose the war. Right? So wake up one. Right? So I'm the one that they woke up to wake the rest of us up. This is the wake up call.
So what God?
So all of these secret societies in it. What was the question, Rich?
In terms of the fifth dimension, this chess game that's being played in the fifth dimension, what gods are working in the favor of the feathers, and what gods are working in the favor of the feathers?
Okay, while we was in amnesia, none of them.
None of them?
No, we was left to our own devices to show ourselves worthy to let them relax. We had to prove it. You say you can go in there while everybody got amnesia, remember who you is, and then tell the rest of them who they is. Right? We know who came over here. It's not a secret. Ain't none of it secret. That's the whole secret. It's in the public, but it's in your face behind your back. They play it in the movies. They write it in the novels, put it in magazines, tell it to you in the music. Everybody tell you just a little piece though, because everybody can't see the collective. When you see from the, okay, what is the purpose of everything you looking at? Everything got a purpose. Ain't nothing haphazard. Everything from your cell phone to the tree outside was meticulously crafted by somebody somewhere at some point. The flora and fauna of the planet is drawn from the catalog called the Voynich manuscript, and that's why they can't translate it, because the language ain't Earth. Right? But it's like a Sears catalog to populate the Earth with new flora and fauna to create a paradise. Right? So when you're looking at all of these ancient texts, you realize that all of this stuff is constructs of the mind that we go through in cycles of trying different things in order to not be bored for all eternity.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, Rod, in the movies, that shit is like a curse, being an eternal being. That shit is miserable. I think the vampires, whoever these people are in the movies, they be wanting to die, Rod. They be like, oh, I'm still here. So, I mean,
death is an illusion. They know death is an illusion, though. Anybody that's death is an illusion is only real in the game. When you're not in physical form, death ain't real.
No, I get that. But do you think that living for eternity is probably one of the things that Source or Big Mama or whoever this entity is one of the things that makes it most saddest? The fact that it lives for eternity? Like, that's forever. What the fuck are you going to do forever?
Yeah. So what you're going to do forever is come up with new cycles, with new ideas, and then strip them all back down and start all over. It's just like a kid with a block of Lego set. He'll take his Legos and he's going to build something, show it off for a little while, then he's going to tear it down and he's going to build something else. That's what we're doing. Tear it down and rebuild it. Tear it down and rebuild it. All of these fear-mongering tactics they using is funny to me because it's like a parody. It's like a tragic drama comedy. Right? And they doing it to slow down the perception of the ones in the game to make time drag out. Right? Time is only defined by event to event in the mind. That's why we need clocks. You try to put everything on a schedule. That's military regimentation. This is all done in the lodges. It's all blueprints to an exit strategy. So when you see the George Washington statement about the 200 years, we wouldn't know which side of the water we from if they take the fezzes from the Moors and the sandals from the chiefs. Right? So that group of chiefs are now here reclaiming everything in what we call their descendants. So it comes down, they say beef is inherited, and they're telling you that for a reason. So the totem chiefs come back at the end to fix all of the problems and to restore the tribal mothers back to the land. And we work from different fields based on our ability. Everybody not supposed to do the same thing. Because if everybody do the same thing, we couldn't get nothing done.
Mhm.
So everybody not always supposed to agree. Because if everybody always agreed, we wouldn't get nothing done.
Right.
It's through the disagreement and the contention that the truth surfaces above the BS,
Okay.
right? So Sabir Bey know he tribally from this side of the ocean,
Mhm.
and he know it's dirty Moors. All of the Moors know. If you say, what do y'all call certain Moors dirty Moors? They tell you, yeah,
Yep.
they do it themselves because they have to identify all of the infiltrators in their ranks.
Mm.
This is
That's
how
what
we
I
know
was.
if we infiltrated or not. Because
Okay.
we expose in our ranks who is who. And then when somebody is acting different than who they profess to be, they not us.
Mhm.
They invader and they're an infiltrator, right? But you have to know the MO, the modus operandi of the ones who's doing the infiltrating, what they here for, who sent
Okay.
them, right? So
Right.
once you understand that, then you say, well, what strategies is common for these people? What do they use to win in their wars? And this is what they will be using against us. Their greatest tool is called deception,
Right.
false narratives, and misleading dead ends. So when Noble Drew Ali said get a good Moorish education, he didn't mean to stop with the pamphlets. The
Mhm.
pamphlets was just some codes. It's all data codes, right? It's certain stuff he say in the pamphlets that lead you to a broader spectrum of research if you know what you're looking at.
Mhm.
Noble Drew Ali was native over here. But he
Right.
had to find out what was going on the land.
Mhm.
If you don't know what's going on, there's no way to fight for freedom if you don't know what's really going on versus what it looked like on the surface.
Right.
I mean, you have to dig in places that other people are not going to look.
Right.
He found himself after years of traveling the sea trying to find stuff out, settling in New Jersey. This is where he encountered the Moorish Zionist temple,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So when he found out the conjure that they was maintenancing was the 200 years George Washington conjure, he said the only way out of this, the chiefs need to know what's going on behind the scenes.
Mhm.
So he had to put the Masonic secrets in the public domain. And this is why you see a lot of sensationalism in our art because that's how we express an idea. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but a word is just a word,
Right.
right? So we can tell more through art and artistic expression in one sentence than we could in a whole book.
Yep.
Here at the beginning, but I
Okay.
told Sister Freedom, I said, I'm a Pan Africanist too.
Really?
But from my understanding of Garvey's teaching, we were supposed to form a world's confraternity.
Right.
And
Mm.
from that confraternity, they gonna tell us where we from.
Hmm.
And in that confraternity is where we come together to fight the common enemy and the purveyors of this doctrine called white supremacy.
Mm.
I used to get told a lot, ain't nobody right no white supremacy. Yes, they did. It's a Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike.
Okay.
This is the operating manual of white supremacy.
Okay.
The control manual that tell them what they enforcing is called the Protocols of Zion. I didn't write it. It's on paper. And if you analyze it with the reality you live in, you'll see it all playing out in front of you. They told us what they was doing. Then they did it. And then they challenged us at the end to come in and undo what they did. And that's what we're doing right now. Okay. So we live in what's called a free will universe.
Okay.
And when two free will people encounter each other, the only way one can override the other one's will is by overt force or by deception. So they use the law of the jungle first.
Yes.
That's the warfare. But they still have to tell us what they're doing, but they can deny it.
Right.
So the so-called leak is fulfilling that fact that they have to tell us what they're doing to us before they doing it and while they doing it, because at any time we become aware of what they doing, we can stop it. We don't have to consent any longer. We can disagree. We can separate. But as long as we going along to get along, they're using our God power to their advantage. You hear me speak on raising the matriarchy a lot.
Oh,
but
exactly.
The reason why I don't speak on the patriarchs, because I don't have to tell a man when he see a woman in her feminine self, he gonna already boss up. He know that he had to be his best self if he wants that one. Right? He can the girl of your dreams, right? The girl of your dreams. When you see her in your physical form, because she didn't fulfill her divinity as the earth angel, you don't want to be at your lowest when you encounter that, because you don't feel like you would have a chance to capture the girl of your dreams. So you're going to have to be a man. The kind of man that every woman wants is the man that every woman wants.
Woo! So let me interject. Let me ask you this.
I don't have to focus on the brothers. When these women start being feminine again, and they start loving on each other again, we gonna say, hey man, y'all, I ain't going in there with my pants sagging down, my ass hanging out, because them sisters right there, they ain't regular. But one of the things that we gotta understand about the matriarchy is the best man for the job is the man the matriarch pick every time. The best man for the job. She not gonna pick the second best, because why would she do that? There's no woman out there, you ask, hey, I'm the third best person for this position. You think I could get the job? She go like, well, who's 2 and 1?
Right, that part.
She don't want the third best, the second best. She want the best. That's just the rule of the matriarchy. And if you were a leader as a man, right? When you go on, you have to have a destination, first of all. My destination is raise the matriarchy, restore the great mother. That's where I'm going. Now, my cause of action is to restore heaven on earth by putting the great mother back on her seat. If I can be successful in alerting the people to the return of the great mother, in the restoration of the great mother back to her proper position, and the women start to heal, I'm gonna be fine after that. I don't need no more. But the rest of the purpose of my life after that is work the fields with my mother, with my hands, with my sons.
She right. The first, so
but
you want
my mission is to raise the matriarchy. I know that the men gonna see it, because they didn't want to listen to me when I tried to tell them about it before I started teaching the sisters. This is the part you didn't know about. I was teaching the men. I only been teaching the sisters 5 years. From the day I started getting knowledge, I've been teaching the brothers. Right? So now it's time for me to do what Elijah told me. 85% of the work is with the women.
And the women bring them in. Let's
And
Okay.
be
then
clear.
First
and
two.
then Noble Drew Ali say
The
we here
woman,
to
the feminine
uplift.
brings that.
Yeah. Noble Drew Ali say we here to uplift fallen humanity, and who's fallen humanity? Or colored was also based on the false and racist understanding of race. Because there is no race. That's the only race is the Conjure War. The race to the realization of who you are, where you from, and if in fact you was already here. It said the reclassification of Native Americans as Negro and colored was also based on a false and racist understanding of race. Native Americans are not Negroes or colored people. They are distinct people with their own unique history and culture and identity. Ain't that something? You mean to tell me that we was part of that 90+% of free black folks, and we had nothing to do with the motherfuckers in slavery? Okay. The reclassification of Native American and Negro or colored is a reminder of the long history of racism and discrimination faced by Native Americans in the United States. It is important to remember this history and to work to overcome the legacy of racism and discrimination that Native Americans continue to face. Right? But ain't nobody been more discriminated against than us. And they telling us who we is by not addressing the issue of who we are. Right? Here are some references that you can check out. The Racialization of Native Americans in the United States by Gene M. O'Brien. That's a 2010 book. American Indian Identity and the Census, the Case of the Blackfoot Confederacy. That's by Russell Thornton, the 1987 book. The Reclassification of American Indians and Alaska Natives in the 1910 Census by Theda Purdue. Right? So remember, everything they doing is a systematic and organized effort to oppress us as a people, right? So when they reclassifying us, we had to remember that they don't even have the right to classify us to begin with. The classification in and of itself is exonymic, meaning that somebody outside of who we are is the ones who telling us who we supposed to be. You not me. So how the hell you gonna tell me who I'm supposed to be? You ain't me. So I'm supposed to accept an outsider's descriptive analysis of who I am, my position on the land, and my function to my community and to my family. Now, if I'm sovereign, those are things that I'm supposed to choose according to the needs of my family and my community and exercise that to its greatest capacity. Right? So if I want to use my intelligence, my savant-like memory to the greatest advantages of my people, I will solve the problems of my people that's most detrimental to us as a people. Does that make sense? So when we don't remember our culture, one chief can't tell another chief what to do. That's the culture. All we can do is offer wise counsel and sound advice, and if they pay attention, but most of us are hard-headed, stubborn, and don't want to hear shit a motherfucker got to say. Because those are the natural characteristics for a chief to be able to hold on to his chief seat. You got to have that shit to hold on to your shit. Now, the good part is this, right? I can come to you and I can offer you a solution. Now, I'm 100% no gonna work because they ain't never failed before. It got a 100% success rate every time. Now, I can show it to you and show you the success rate and show you how to use it. But if you don't believe in what I'm showing you as a chief now, I got a right, if it's going to work, to prove it to you by doing it on your behalf. But I can't do it until you tell me you can't figure it out. You can tell me straight up, or you can tell me by action and deed, or you can tell me indirectly by innuendo. But soon as I'm clear that you don't know what I'm doing and how I can help you, now I have to show you what I'm doing to help you. And the result is you got to be able to receive all of your benefits that I said you were going to receive. And they want me to go over what I'm looking at, what I see. I'm not going on nobody's platform for them to try to convince me that I wasn't already here before them motherfuckers came. If somebody want to do that, I'm not. That's what I'm not interested in. Other than that, if they want to know why I'm not African American, I'll discuss that. If they want to know why I don't mind being called black, but I'm not black, I can address that. That's my black gorilla connection. That's my link to the belligerent clans who's playing defense against the so-called white man in the white man's world, in the white man's game. The white is the attacker on the chessboard. Has nothing to do with the pale face skin complexion, and they've been taking all of the weight for the black hand, the secret Negroes behind the scene. The great mother ain't on her throne. That's when humanity fell.
You're right. You're right.
So if we uplift fallen humanity, we all go back to being humane to one another. We stop allowing people to train our children and hypnotize them into believing that they're an alternate gender from what their mama produced.
Wow.
Right? This is a concerted effort of warfare used against us to influence our children. It's part of something called a gay agenda.
Yes, sir.
If
Yes, sir.
we first have to regain control of our community, put the great mother back on her throne, and it's automatic. We automatically start reorganizing the communities.
Wow.
You know
Right?
what?
I used to listen to my big mama tell my mama stuff about me in my future. Shirley, now you see this one here? He sees things. You need to pay attention when he tell you something. I used to give people the lottery number till they started exploiting the gift, making
Wow.
promises to a little kid and not keeping them. If I hit the number, I'm gonna take you shopping. They knocked the aluminum siding out the number
And
and
don't come.
forget if they never take me shopping.
Wow.
So the gift turned off. Section from exploitation.
Oh.
Okay. So first of all, we was prisoners of war. We weren't slaves. The slave narrative was told to conceal the fact that we was prisoners of war at home. Second, the Trail of Tears was a swap out of a different group of people that they brought with them as servants to replace the tribes. Those cities that's predominantly us in the South is that way on purpose because a lot of them was villages before they were cities. And we had settlements down there as they ousted us on the Trail of Tears and continued on with the imposters to settle on the reservations. And they used the paper genocide to reclassify us in a legal system. But our real legal determination is belligerent tribes because we was the tribes that refused to sign treaties with them. Some of my ancestors was part of the tribes that did, but part of my ancestry comes from what they call the outlaw tribes. The outlaw tribes is the ones like the Mississippians who would have never agreed to any of their terms because they would have knew they was lying, right? So they didn't never trust them to sign anything, and they wanted us to surrender land, and that's to us like selling your mama. They believe in selling their mama and their children. We don't. That's the difference in how you know them from us. they just, whitewashing history so that we would think that the pale face is the enemy. While these,
So, do you know who Laurent Kabila is?
No.
Let's go to Google and see who he is.
Okay, go ahead.
But when they lifted the U.S.
You want to roll this video?
Huh? No, you ain't got to roll it. We seen him. We see who he is.
All right.
They can look him up and see how he was put into power, so they can understand how the United States corporation was put in power over us.
Who looking for now?
Laurent, Laurent. Last name Kabila, Kabilah. He was a head of state in Africa.
Assassinated.
When this was the first head of state to die, when the moratorium by executive order restricting the assassination of heads of state, Laurent Kabila, he the bald head dude down there with the green shirt on. Yep, him where you was pointing at. That's him. Now, the reason why he was a problem because he put the stranglehold on the De Beers Corporation's holdings over there in Africa. When he did that, he was a marked man.
Yeah.
And they used a Manchurian candidate that they had as a sleeper assassin to kill him. I think it was his nephew.
All right, go ahead. You going in, man. You telling me some you cracking fucking the phone. You going into their phone, the shit they talk about on the phone.
Yeah. Okay, now the reason why this is a big deal is because the CIA hypno assassin program through MK Ultra. And he was on their list of heads of state to be neutralized in Africa. Right? The same thing, America assassinated another head of state in Africa named Patrice Lumumba. You want to pull him up so the people can see him?
Yeah, it's right here. It's a Freemason. What his name is?
Patrice Lumumba. Patrice. Last name Lumumba.
You guys right here.
Yep, the guy with the glasses on. That's him.
Straight pimp shit.
You see that leopard print hat, right?
Yeah.
The tribal priest.
Okay.
This is Africa's Malcolm X right here.
Go ahead.
This is one badass motherfucker. But let me tell you what they do to this brother.
Yeah.
Right? They take Patrice Lumumba out in the woods, assassinating and bury him, right? You see the picture that he's pointing at the screen?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. They went and dug him up. And the French general that dug him up, he said he was terrified because he raised his finger like that, as if he was giving his troops one last command.
Damn.
Now, when I was growing up, what made him so memorable to me is he looked exactly like my Uncle Jake. And my Uncle Jake wasn't for no games. He'd beat a motherfucker ass.
You look like a dude.
All right, now, when they killed him, they also had America wasn't behind the murder of Stephen Biko. Pull him up so they can see him. These people we need to know about. When they're talking about Pan-African studies, this is the kind of stuff they're talking about because it all ties back. They killed him. This was South Africa's Malcolm X. Bad man right here. Went for no games. He the one that told Mandela he better strap up. And after they killed him, that's when they captured Mandela. And because Mandela was on his way to Kenya to meet with somebody called the Kikuyu tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Kikuyu tribe is known for their Mau Mau. Pull Mau Mau up next. M-A-U, M-A-U, 2 words. Put Kenya behind. You see that brother standing right behind Jomo Kenyatta on the last picture at the top?
Right here?
Yeah, click that picture.
All right.
He was the field general. I always forget his name. This is the guy that Jomo Kenyatta sold out when he gave his position away to the invaders.
Mm-hmm.
You see, with his dreadlocks?
Yeah, dude with the Willow's Peak.
Mm-hmm. He was the leader of the Mau Mau rebellion against the
just like them Dirty Moors.
Nah, he wasn't no Dirty Moor. The Dirty Moor is the nigga standing on there with the kufi on.
Oh, this nigga right here.
That nigga. That's Jomo Kenyatta. He became the head of Kenya.
Okay.
He sold out the resistance. The guy standing next to him put Jomo Kenyatta in power, and he was the leader of the resistance.
Mm-hmm.
So when Jomo Kenyatta got in power, he made deals with the Europeans to end the conflict. And part of the deal was that he would give them the position of the stronghold of the Mau Mau.
Oh, hell no. We ain't going out like that.
Now, scroll down a little bit. It's a book on the Mau Mau, so they can see what book to read about the Mau Mau rebellion.
You see it?
Mm-hmm. It's another one that was next to it, too. Okay, so now the Mau Mau, right? That was in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Keep that in mind. Kenya is the land of Anpu.
Okay, go ahead.
You know who Anpu is, right?
No, I don't. It's like I heard the name, but I can't put it to nobody right now.
You heard it. That's Anubis.
Oh, okay. I know who. If you said Anubis, I would have said, okay, I know who it is.
Right. But it's really called the land of the jackal.
Okay. They were just explaining it just a minute ago in that video.
Right. And then we was talking about the jackal in Rosemary's Baby. The jackal was the baby's father.
Mm-hmm.
And then we was talking about in the Omen how the jackal was the baby's father.
Mm-hmm.
But he was buried over in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Omen is the story about the Antichrist.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So while you getting your Pan-African studies, these is the people that tell you that the enemies look like us, but they not us.
Mm-hmm.
Frantz Fanon. Can you type that in?
Yeah.
Franz Fanon. Right? He in another part of Africa, I think he was in Sierra Leone, fighting the liberation struggle there, or either in Algiers. I can't remember which one.
What his name is again?
Made me forget his name. France, Franz, and then his last name is Fanon, Fanon.
Okay, that was the right guy. A white
No,
one?
that's not. No. Put in blackface white mask. Just take that out and put in blackface white mask. Check with the audience, young girl, to see how they doing over there. Make sure we ain't boring them.
Yeah, it's almost time. We already over the time already, but it's all good.
See that black and white book right there with the writing on it?
Yeah.
Click on that. You see the name, Frantz Fanon?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there's another one, a guy named Walter Rodney. Walter Rodney was a psychiatrist. Now we talking Pan-Africanism. You see what the title of that book is? Black Skin, White Mask.
Walter what?
Rodney, R-O-D-N-E-Y.
He from Africa?
Yep.
He looked like the other dude just showed us.
Different guy.
No, but they look like they could probably be like, you know,
You see where it got a quote of him at right there? Get the one with the quote on it. Because he be saying some dope ass shit.
All right, I got it. Yeah, we already over the time limit though, so
yeah, I'm just gonna show them up what the people look like we talking about.
okay, I got you.
Right. So this in the Pan-African studies, and they giving us all of the issues that they face with over there to match to the issues we face with over here, and then make adjustments for the cultural difference between the two. They tell us that we from over here and that the motherfuckers that's invading them are the same people invading us.
Wow.
So this is what the Garvey confraternity was all about. Organic people of the land from all over the planet been here the whole time. But it was somebody that don't have a homeland nowhere on the planet. That means they don't belong here.
Exactly.
Right? Because even nomads is native to a part of the land.
Exactly.
If they earthborn. Right? So these people go everywhere we at, they come in, sow seeds of dissension, turn one against the other, and then they stand back like they didn't throw the rock. And while we get to fighting, they come offer us a solution for a fee. And when they offer us a solution, they leave a condition that was worse than it was when they came. Right? So the last guy we're going to look up is Maurice Bishop. Y'all need to be familiar with who he is, since we're talking about greats. He's from the Caribbean, from Grenada. The CIA assassinated him in around 83.
Hey, spell his name.
Maurice, Maurice. Last name Bishop, Bishop.
Yeah, you were talking about this dude on one of the other tapes. I got a picture of him too.
You see him standing there with Castro?
Yeah.
Yeah. American CIA, the CIA had him hit. They joined with a rogue faction over there and took him out of power because he built the first international airport in Grenada. He built it.
Yeah.
That was part of what he was doing to bring in and galvanize the economy of Grenada. America couldn't stand him. Go listen to some of his speeches.
Okay. He wanted them to sell it. He wanted America wanted him to sell his people out.
Yeah, he was tired of the sellout shit. He was just grassroots rose to the prominence, took over. Right? And CIA had him killed, had him murdered in a coup. They established a coup and had him murdered.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Let's scroll through. We're gonna take we take about 3-4 questions out and wrap it up.
All right. Let's see what y'all got, man. Somebody said, what makes you synthetic?
Which I don't get the question.
Me neither. Let me find another one. It says to what point the most of the characters dead. Hey, if you got your questions, drop them in the chat.
So we taking about 3 or 4 questions. Y'all hope y'all got some good ones. We can take a couple questions before we wrap this one up. This is the water and the fire. This is how these motherfuckers flood us out or burn us out. You know what I'm saying? This is how they all over the world, they got their hands in everybody else's dirt. They pay money to set other governments up, but they won't take care of the people in the government that they're supposed to be operating on the behalf of.
Facts.
They telling us history in the method, in the manner to make us believe that we the victors when all the time we the victims.
Mm-hmm.
So once we realize that they told us the history upside down and backwards, we could flip that shit around, turn it back upside right, and then we could see it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't come on no motherfucking slave ships. That don't make no motherfucking sense. Why would you bring 300 million motherfuckers from Africa when you got 300 million motherfuckers here already? That just doesn't make sense. The motherfuckers ain't never been accused of being goddamn fools. They know that that doesn't make economic sense. If you can get your motherfucking POWs to do the work, and then later on you can use that as a victim position to keep them motherfuckers subservient. We call that post-traumatic slave disorder. It's actually post-traumatic POW disorder, prisoner of war. It's Stockholm syndrome that was instituted using Pavlovian response and motherfucking Skinner boxes. Keep your motherfucking mind numb. So now we just showing bits and pieces of the puzzle to the people so the people can see that we know what we're talking about when we tell you these motherfuckers came over here with bad intentions for us. And now we know who the fuck we is. We can then redeem ourselves from the oppressor's oppression. You ain't gonna never get out of this shit unless you figure out that you have to divorce yourself from the motherfucking system. You got to walk off everything, leave this motherfucker hanging. Because what we got coming on the heels of this shit, everything gonna be restored with honor and dignity. Ain't none of this shit gonna be able to stand if the motherfuckers ain't treated right. Each one teach one, we all gonna reach some. Mm-hmm. So what you seeing in the motherfucking questions, Elder? Anybody got something?
Somebody asked you, could you break down, you know anything about the brother Simeon Toko?
Oh, from Africa.
Yeah.
Watch his videos. He here. He kicks off for himself. You gotta learn how to pay attention to what people put people energy. How sincere are they versus what's an agenda? I ain't got no agenda. I ain't asking nobody for no money. I ain't asking nobody to come do nothing for me. I'm just on here giving free knowledge out and showing y'all where to look for critical pieces. That brother over there, if he talking about the same one I'm thinking about, because it could be talking about a different one, but that brother over there, he's saying what the fuck he said. He not backing down, and he know what's going on. He evicting the imposters off the land over there.
Mm-hmm.
So we ain't gotta always speak on everybody that's doing the work. Help a motherfucker out.
Right.
It's more people doing the work than I can mention. And sometimes I be getting two people crossed when I'm on a different pattern, on a different path.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're talking about the brother that always be wearing the red, that be over and be doing all of the political speeches in Africa.
I got a picture of him on the screen.
Huh?
I got a picture of him on the screen.
Click that. Okay, I'm not familiar. Oh, that's the dude that they said was the Black Jesus from
the magic tricks and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they said that they chopped him up into pieces and took his parts, different parts of the world, set him on fire, and then he came back and said, "Y'all ain't ready for me yet."
Yeah, on some get high shit.
Yeah, I thought he was talking about that political leader over there. Now I know he's talking about.
Yeah, he talking about Simeon Toko, the dude that my homeboy from Africa. He told me he used to like turn into a pimp.
This story not a secret.
Mm-hmm.
This story not a secret. This shit been known since it happened.
Mm-hmm. They balled him, threw him on a plane.
Yeah, they chopped his body up. Look, they killed him, chopped his body up on the plane, chopped his body up, sent him on planes to different parts of the world, then burnt up the body parts.
Mm-hmm. And
then he came right back and told him, "Y'all ain't ready for me yet. I'm gonna have to lead so y'all learn how to live like me." There's a guy in India named Babaji. Same thing, except he's from India.
Mm-hmm.
And Babaji just means the old soul or the ancient one or the ancient soul or the ancient father. Baba is father. G mean great father.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you put Babaji in there, you will see he's sitting cross-legged with long stringy hair.
Hey, spell it.
Babaji.
Yeah, right here's one. Man,
It's on the second row. Well, not even second. It's on the second row. Not them. That's him right there. To the left of that. To the left of that. Where you go way down there for? Was one. Go back the other way.
This way.
We just passed it again. No, not him. The one that's a drawing.
Oh, drawing right here.
Yeah, that's the drawing of him. And scroll back over. It was another one on that same row at the end. That's another drawing of him.
Okay.
But he still appeared to people, been appearing to people for thousands of years in India. He can embody and disembody at will. So the science behind dematerialization is and your spirit body, your light body, can separate from your physical body, right? When you get to the destination that your light body can travel instantly, it doesn't need it doesn't need time to travel through space like a physical body. So while he in that meditative state like that, he can bilocate is what it's called, and go to the other location where he need to be at, and then draw the atomic energy to him using the science of magnetism and create a synthetic filament of a body around him where he'll look and feel real, but he can disappear at a moment's notice. This is a science of bilocation. Only the greatest of masters, he's one of the few that can do it. Right?
Kind of like a Jesus figure in the Hindu culture or something?
No, he ain't nothing like Jesus. He probably slapped Jesus.
He probably slapped the shit out of Jesus.
No, Jesus is ISIS. Motherfuckers don't know that though, so we ain't gonna spoil their motherfucking day. They think Jesus is a man. That's how they know all the motherfuckers that they be saying is the fake Christ. Lying, because the Christ is a woman. Jesus is ISIS.
Yeah, I like the way that sound.
So now, what other questions you see in there?
All right, we'll take one more, man, before we get out, man, because my body's shitting it down because I've been up for so long, since 5 o'clock. Okay, what do you think about Thomas Sankara? Let's say his last name. Oh yeah, we gonna have the masses of risk being carried out. Yes, I said somebody said. Shout out Fourth Elder. He said have the mass arrest being carried out where they're taking the niggas to Guantanamo Bay.
Look, that's a good question. All that shit gonna come out, but you know what we got to do right now? Kanye dragging the beast out, y'all. This nigga got the beast by the horns. The dirty Moors that we've been trying to get out to come out in the open, Kanye beating on their door. He got to first expose the imposter pale skin Jews, the liar Kohanes and them motherfuckers. Then he got to get out of their contractual obligations. He did that. Now he going at their throat. We got to support Kanye because this gonna trigger whether we on the same page or whether we still don't see what's going on. Right? So the hashtag is Jay is right or Kanye is right. That's it. Just hashtag that shit. Make sure you put it in the motherfucking comments.
Kanye is right.
Hashtag Kanye right or hashtag Jay is right.
They banning him because they say his lyrics is too rough. I said Kanye lyrics too rough.
Look, I did about
Hey.
10 posts today. 4 of those posts had a clip of Kanye, and they gave me restrictions for all of them.
Damn.
So the people need to be aware that they trying to see if we gonna support Kanye. Like they support each other when they trying to step on one of our people's neck to keep us from helping each other. Right? Remember, Kanye was on there. He said Tupac once told me, "Don't go to war till you get your money right." He said, "I got my money right, so now it's time to go to war."
Yeah, but they taking his money.
But for those who ain't watching, right, they don't want to do business with Kanye.
Yeah.
But what Young Thug telling you? I got some acres over here. You can put your school for free, nigga. Put your stores for free.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It gotta be a stand up and support one motherfucker. He the spearhead. He the one finna pierce the devil's armor. So we gotta start showing support for Ye in the motherfucking social media world for real. Because they use the algorithms of the social media to determine if they are we gonna let them snuff him out?
Yeah, right.
Are we gonna let them kill another one? That they're trying to set him up so they can murder him.
Yeah.
But he keep moving, they can't get him lined up. He's smarter than they thought he was. So now they don't know what to do. He got his foot on the gas. We gotta support his move. We gotta back his play.
Right.
You know? And that's one of the big things that we need to take away from the fire and the water. That water that's drying up in the Mississippi, in the Gulf, that shit coming back.
Right.
That shit coming back. Trust me, that shit coming. It has to come back.
Yeah.
It's the law of physics. It has to come back because what you're not realizing is the reason why it's drying up is something that's pulling the water to the equator.
Right.
That means